Yes guys, welcome back to another video. CTB, Cam Talks Boxing. Let's get straight into it. So this coming weekend we have Vergil Ortiz Jr. against Michael McKinson at the Dickies Arena in Texas. Guys, I've been looking forward to this fight. I've been looking forward to this fight for months now. Honestly, when I looked at the summer schedule, this was one that stood out to me. It was scheduled to happen in March, but obviously Vergil Ortiz was diagnosed with rhabdomyolysis. I can't remember what it's called now, but yeah, he was diagnosed. It was quite bad. He had to go to hospital, and I believe it was due to he was just training so hard, and he had quite a bad issue. So obviously Michael McKinson had a replacement. He fought and he won his fight through a wide unanimous decision against a fellow slick fighter. Hence why it was a bit of a boring fight. But yeah, Michael McKinson's now 22-0, 2 knockouts, and he's from the UK. If you don't know, he's a tricky southpaw. He's quite tidy. He's quite tricky. He's got quite a good defense, although he does get caught at times. He's not the most powerful. As I said, he's only got 2 knockouts, and I think that's what makes it quite interesting. It's literally boxer against puncher. Vergil Ortiz Jr. obviously one of the hardest punchers in boxing. That's what it says, that's what I put in the thumbnail. I've asked that question: is he the biggest puncher in boxing? He's got 100% KO ratio. Only person who also has that is Artur Beterbiev, light heavyweight unified WBC and IBF and WBO world champion. So Vergil Ortiz is a huge puncher, so that's what makes it so interesting. Will Vergil Ortiz be able to get Michael McKinson out of there? He's had a 1-year layoff. Obviously, Vergil Ortiz's last fight was against Mean Machine, Cav Velasquez, in August last year. He managed to knock him out, which was quite an impressive win. It was his biggest test to date. Obviously, his will was tested, and Cav Velasquez was a good win. Obviously, being because Cav Velasquez had he's been a world title challenger. He fought Crawford a few years back and gave Crawford quite a good fight before he got knocked out by Crawford. And I think with Vergil Ortiz, it's interesting now because he's building up. He fought Maurice Hooker as well, former world champion at 140. So he's got some decent wins. I think this will be a nice little challenge for him, a tricky southpaw, to see how he deals with that style. For me, I think it's a good fight. I think it's definitely a good fight. It's interesting to see. Will it go to points? Will Vergil Ortiz look a bit rusty? Will he find the style tricky? Will he find McKinson's southpaw style, the slicky boxing on the back foot, trying to be behind the jab? Will he find that tricky to kind of break down? Will he be able to break McKinson down? So I mean, one thing I'm thinking is it's a good fight for Vergil Ortiz because if he does go in against a Boots or a Crawford next, even a Spence, they're all southpaws, right? And I think it will get him ready for that next step up. Whether it's Boots, whether it's Crawford, whether it's Spence, I think this is an important fight. I think it's an important test for him to see how he does, and just tick the box off really. Just now that if he gets an impressive win, he can just say, look, okay, that's prepared me now for the next world title for his next fight, which could very well be a world title shot. Obviously, hopefully it's not. Hopefully his next fight isn't a world title shot because obviously we want Spence and Crawford to fight. But like I said, like we're all worrying, it might not happen. Obviously Crawford had that interview on Fight Hub. Fight Hype it might have been actually a few days ago, and he kind of slipped out. It might happen down the line. I'm just not sure whether it will happen. Hopefully it does, but if it doesn't, we could very well see Vergil Ortiz against Bud. We could see him against Crawford. I think it will be probably Crawford because I think he's number 1 at WBO in the WBO ranking. So I mean, of course, that's the biggest fight in boxing, Spence Crawford. But I mean, if that doesn't happen, I mean, I wouldn't complain I would be complaining, but you know what I mean. In the second best option, that would be a great fight as well. Crawford and Vergil Ortiz. I'd like to see. Being interesting to see how Vergil Ortiz does against Crawford because feel like it would give Crawford some trouble because he'll be in with like a fully fledged welterweight, and that's another topic I want to quickly touch on as well. Obviously, a lot of people have said that Vergil Ortiz struggles to make 147 and that he should go to 154 pounds, and Vergil Ortiz literally shut that down. He's literally saying no, that won't happen. He's fighting at 147 until he gets a world title shot, and even like the reporter asked him, okay, but what if you can't get a world title shot, will you go up to 154 pounds? And he literally said no, he won't be going up to 154 until he wins a world title at 147. So clearly he probably doesn't struggle to make the weight if he's willing to stay for the next few years. Yeah, he's literally willing to stay at welterweight for the next few years, so I don't think it'll be a problem. But yeah, I think it's just so exciting with Vergil Ortiz. I think he's actually like, I'm really like becoming a fan of him. I think he's so humble outside the ring, and I literally put a tweet out the other day. I said Vergil Ortiz is the definition of humble outside the ring, and killer inside the ring. Like honestly, like he's so mean and vicious inside the ring. Like he's just so powerful as well. But then outside the ring, he's like the nicest guy. So humble, plays the guitar, very polite. He's very articulate in how he speaks, presents himself well. And yeah, I'm really becoming like a huge fan of Vergil Ortiz, and I honestly feel like after Bud and Spence, it's literally Boots Ennis, Jerome Boots Ennis, and Vergil Ortiz Jr. who will be carrying the welterweight division. And I think with Boots, there's a bit more hype around Boots. A lot of people, talking about his punching power. Boots, he's just how slick he is, his defense, his boxing IQ, and I think, and with Vergil Ortiz, I think there's less hype because number one, he's been out of the ring for a year. That always has a big effect, because if you're not fighting, less people are talking about you. And I just feel like he's possibly hasn't shown as much as Boots in terms of like variety in his skill set. Obviously, a lot more people think Boots probably has a lot more to his toolbox, to his arsenal. So, but no, I do think Vergil Ortiz is for real. I think he's getting close to that world title shot, and it'll be good to see how he. I mean, a lot of people are saying the fight this weekend with Vergil Ortiz and McKinson will probably go into the second half of the fight. So imagine if he takes out Michael McKinson within 6 rounds. That would be a statement. So I think we've got to see how rusty Vergil is. We've got to see how good Michael McKinson's boxing, how good he performs as well, how he performs, because don't rule out Michael McKinson. Like, he's coming to win, he's got a chip on his shoulder. Someone's always got to go. We can't forget that Michael McKinson doesn't know what it feels like to lose as well, so you've got to take that into account. But look, this is how I see the fight playing out. I think he'll be quite cagey early on. I think McKinson will get into a bit of rhythm, but I feel like Vergil Ortiz will start to like land some heavy shots on McKinson, and I feel McKinson will start to feel it, will start to get bruised up a bit, and start respecting his power. And then I feel like he'll get on his bike, he'll get on the back foot a little bit more when it gets to about 6-7 rounds. And I honestly think Vergil Ortiz will probably get McKinson out of there for around round 8, round 9, I believe. I'll say round 9. I think he'll get him out of there. I think he'll stop him. I think he'll knock him out actually. And I think he'll eventually break him down. I think he'll get him to the body, and I think he'll probably knock him out with a right hook, or I think a right hook. Probably straight jab and then bang, right hook. But yeah, that's my prediction. I believe Vergil Ortiz will stop McKinson in round 9 with a knockout, and that's how I see the fight playing out. But looking forward to the fight tomorrow. I'll be on Twitter tweeting about it, watching it, and keep an eye out on my Twitter. It's Cam Talks Boxing, and I'll be back with another video on Monday. Peace out, guys.
Foreign bad bitch, I can't even pronounce her name. Talking numbers on the phone while I'm getting brains. Switch 4 lanes, I'm in my own lane. You can catch me right riding in that foreign thing.